Welcome to Fog on Fire, a podcast about reflection, faith, grit, and getting back up. In every episode, host John Carpenter sits down with someone who's walked through the hard stuff, held onto their faith, and found something real on the other side. It may feel like it, but you are not alone in your journey. The fog lifts, and the fire remains. And there's another side, so let's have a conversation.
This podcast is Fog and Fire, and it's really a reflection podcast based on a time or part of your life that might have caused strife, if we will. So I know you have a story, and I'm hoping that you're going to tell the story. So tell a little about you and where you grew up and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so grew up in Akron, Ohio, and pretty normal childhood. But I don't know what to say.
Just tell your story.
Yeah, I don't know where to start though.
Well, I mean, I would start with being, going to school and then falling away and,
Seminary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So start back over with that.
Okay. So I went to college seminary for the Diocese of Cleveland
Okay.
at Borromeo, and did really well. Academically did well. Things were good. And then I started experiencing something like depression.
Okay.
Some loss of interest in things, some lack of energy. And I didn't really know what it was at the time. And then I ended up having a point where I got real paranoid.
Okay.
And then ended up calling my spiritual director in the middle of the night during final exams, my last semester. He's like, I don't even know, you don't even sound like the same person. And I took off that winter break and never came back, took a leave of absence.
Okay. So you were in the middle of seminary or coming close to the end, right?
I was halfway through. Yeah.
Okay. And so what was your goal to be kind of after you finished? Did you want to be a priest? Did you want to be a deacon? Like what was your goal?
Yeah, I was going to be a priest. Yeah.
Okay. So,
I was discerning and I wasn't positive. But...
Yeah. So you were discerning about what you want to be and you were kind of reflecting on that. But then that time hit where, man, it just kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. It built up over years, but then I just collapsed.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the struggle with, and I'm going to say men, not necessarily men. I mean, all what people do, but men really particularly know something's wrong. They know that there's a struggle, but they're not going to talk to anybody because they think we can figure it out, right? We're like, I think I got this.
Right. And I was the one that always had it together, kind of. Like I was always a good kid. I was always, well respected in the seminary. I was well respected. So I could always put on a front that I was fine, even though I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I would turn to other things like alcohol and stuff to kind of mask those symptoms.
Yeah. So, I mean, just on my baptism day, I was in a bad mood all day, right? And I think the devil was playing in my head. And so was that where you feel like what's going on? Like the devil was there and kind of maybe winning?
I don't know about winning, but it definitely, the harder I pushed it down, trying to suffocate it, the worse it got. It's like the more stuffing, it just became overbearing.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, because I think that, we deflect. As anybody who has any mental health issues, we kind of deflect. We kind of say it's just going to get better or tomorrow's going to be fine, but then you don't sleep that night, right? And tomorrow's not fine. And then you continue down that path and you can't find a way out of it. So you call your director, middle of the night. He says, you don't even sound like the same person.
Yeah. He's like, you don't sound okay. You don't sound like the normal Josh.
Yeah.
He's like, can you just finish your paper and go home? Can you just get your work done and get home? And I did. I went home and I stayed in a parish over the winter break. I was still a seminarian.
Okay.
So over that break, I continued to kind of decompensate and struggle with the depression and all that stuff, and ended up taking a leave of absence from the seminary for a year. So I moved in with a couple buddies of mine next to 5 bars in an apartment, which, of course, if you're depressed and have a drinking problem, it's not a good place to be.
Yes.
But I thought that was great at the time. So I moved in there and just did construction for a while, really labor, really tough work.
Yeah.
Digging ditches, literally digging ditches, stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I'd come home and I'd go to the bar and I'd drink and then I'd go to work. And
How old were you at this time?
I was about 22.
Okay. So still fresh, not like, not down the path of like you're an adult of 30 with things
No.
going on. So just
No,
just a youngster.
Yep. I did finish college and did one semester of graduate seminary.
Okay.
And then this was my job after graduate seminary was construction with my buddies
Okay.
in Akron. And, like I just continued to get worse and worse. I remember I went to my primary care doctor and I was like, hey, I'm losing it. And he's like, well, we'll put you on this little antidepressant. And this was about 6 months after I got out of the seminary. I'll put you on this little antidepressant. So I tried it, and like 2 weeks in, I got super depressed.
Yeah.
Like it just destroyed me. Like
Which is the weirdest thing, right? Because that is the thing with most antidepressants. They put you through the depressive state to bring you back out.
right. And it just wrecked my world.
Yeah.
And I was working at the time at this point with as a youth minister. And Caitlin, who I worked with, who's not my wife, but we were working together. And this point just where I collapsed, and I just told her, I was like, I need to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 10 o'clock at night, I drove from Cleveland to Akron because that's the only hospital I knew because my cousin had been there before
Okay.
for psych stuff. So I drove there and I just was like, it was the hardest thing to get there. It was like the hardest thing I ever did in my life was to just keep the car straight and get there. And I literally just got there, got in the emergency room. They took me back and just collapsed.
Yeah.
I was just like,
How did Caitlin go with you?
no, she didn't go with me.
Okay.
So I told her I was going, and then I kind of just
Well,
left.
I mean, there are times you got to do that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You just got to go.
Yeah.
Now, so you were in Akron, but you just said you were coming from Cleveland. So where were you at up in Cleveland?
I was in Brunswick.
Okay.
I was in Brunswick at the time working at a church there.
Okay. So you left all the bar hopping and the
Well, I was still
construction?
bar hopping, but I wasn't doing construction anymore.
Okay.
I was working at a parish doing some youth ministry stuff.
Okay.
Which was helpful. It kind of helped me realize like, hey, maybe there's something going on. Because before that, while I was doing construction, I wasn't going to mass as often.
Sure.
And praying as often. So getting back into that world, it was kind of like a shock. Like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, Josh, something's not right.
Right.
Something's not right. You're losing control.
Yeah.
And so that was super helpful to experience that.
Do you think that you coming out of regular college, going to seminary, and we know, I don't know, but from stories that you hear, right? You get into seminary, and while it's still a regular college, it still does have some alone time, some reflection time with God, whatever you want to call it,
yeah.
right? Do you think that the normal college experience had set you up, and then you kind of go there and
Well,
maybe you're missing people and missing things?
I did go to college seminary right out of high school.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I went to the undergraduate seminary.
Okay.
And then I did a semester of the graduate seminary.
Good.
And that's when I left. But honestly, it was the seminary that helped me get through all of this.
Good.
Because the time of prayer, the time of discernment and reflection and training I received.
Yeah.
Like just how to pray, how to discern, how to reflect really made me more aware of what was going on than I would have normally realized.
Sure.
As someone who did.
Sure.
And it really saved my life. I mean,
That's good.
I give a lot of credit to the seminary. It's been such a good thing for me.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm a fresh Catholic, right? But when you kind of look back on a lot of the people who I've talked to in the past, they grew up Catholic or whatever, and they seem to be the ones who leave and then come back. We know this a lot of times. But, there's always a struggle in the fact that they kind of feel forced or whatever. I'm glad that that's not the way you did it. You were chosen. You were chosen to do something different, and that's what you started to do.
Right.
And you found yourself back, and that's what you still do.
Yeah.
So, you went to the doctor, you went to the hospital, you collapsed, and walk us through what your feeling was once, like, you got there. Was it relief? Was it still concern? Was it, what was it when you got to the hospital and you were like being taken care of?
Yeah. So, when you go to the hospital for a psych thing, they take you back to a little locked area.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea what was going on, but security looks you over and talk to these doctors and they take blood work and then they put you in a room. And there were some people in there in other rooms that were kind of loud. They were kind of going through something.
Yeah.
I was just depressed, but they were going through other things.
Sure.
Right? So it's kind of shocking. But it was a sense of relief. Like I'm I'm okay.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yep.
This was my one goal tonight, was to get here.
Good.
And,
You don't have to have a.
and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And so the rest was just like, I mean, I was super nervous because I didn't know what to expect at all. You know, you see in movies or whatever,
Yeah.
what you expect. It's not like that at all. But, you know,
It's not One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
no, it's not at all. It's not at all, really. But you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You hear horrible things, you know. So I remember they got me to my room and they gave me something to sleep. And I don't remember what it was, but it knocked me out for like the next day and a half.
Okay.
And it was great. I had slept in months, really.
Yeah.
So it was good to sleep. But there was a feeling of just like numbness, like just complete loss of emotion, feeling, energy. It wasn't so much like sadness as just like,
Just wasn't.
there's just nothing.
Yeah.
I was just blank.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the slate was wiped clean.
Yeah, but in like not a good way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like I have nothing going on.
Well, how long were you in the hospital then?
I was in the hospital 6 days that time.
Okay.
But one of the coolest parts of the hospital was the second day I was in there, a man came. I told him I was Catholic when I entered the ER.
Okay.
So it was on my file. Well, evidently they just tell that to the people that bring communion when they come visit you.
Okay.
Which was cool, but I had no idea. So the second day I'm in there, I'm really struggling. There's a little window by my door and I see this guy walk up. He's kind of like an interesting fella. You know, he's got like gloves on and like long hair. And, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know who this is. And he knocks on my door and he says, do you want to receive communion? And you know, the Lord that I had ran from, the Lord that I avoided, the Lord that I, you know, walked away from so many different times, found me in my most difficult moment, my most vulnerable moment. He met me there. And that was like the start of my healing. Not that I felt better, but like I knew the Lord was with me in that suffering.
Yeah.
And like, that's what the Lord is. I mean, he suffered and died for us and he knows what suffering is.
Yeah. And he shows up when you least expect it sometimes. Right. And okay, so you take the communion.
Yeah. I mean, it was like,
you told me about this before and you know, it's weird that 3 words that happen when you enter into, you know, the ER, I'm a Catholic. And then all of a sudden, like, here comes somebody with communion, right?
Yeah.
A couple days later.
In crisis, those are the only things I said. Like, I'm Catholic and I need help. Yeah. It was just like, that's just what I came to. And look, it brought Jesus right to me.
Right.
You know, Jesus was there the whole time and in that and through that. And
so 6 days in, you get out. Any emotion come back yet?
I'm feeling a little better. I'm more stable.
Okay.
But I'm just like a roller coaster for the next several months.
Yeah.
That was December. I was hospitalized in April, June, and October of that same year.
Oh, wow.
June, I was
but not as like rushed to the hospital kind of thing. You just felt like you were off and you went back in, or?
Oh, I rushed myself to the hospital. It was like, it was
all saying the same.
Yeah. It was depressive. There was some points where I was a little paranoid.
Okay.
And having some stuff like that, but mostly it was depression.
Yeah.
Now the one in June is the only one I don't remember how long it was because it was my buddy's wedding and I was the best man and they were calling me and worried I wasn't going to get out in time.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything about this day. I don't remember how long I was there. That's the only one that's kind of like a blur to me. So
yeah.
I don't know if
is that a good or a bad
experimenting on me.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
But it helped. But no, you know, and then after that October stay, I really had a couple years of not out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, it's a blessing too that, you know, you had family and friends and Caitlin to kind of hang around and stay with you, right? Because the fear of not having anything when you get out is real. I think that the struggle comes from anytime we are in something we don't know what the end result is. You're afraid you're going to lose friends. You're afraid you're going to lose family, right? And so you come out of it and you go, okay, who's still here?
Yeah.
And I know when I talked to Father Rob and about something, and he said, well, you know, put yourself up on Calvary and who's there at the bottom, who's at the base, and who's there with you, and, you know, who isn't. And for me, I was like, man, like that's a rough way to put it, but it's a real way to put it.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you know who's in your life.
Yeah.
So it's lucky that they stayed and you're happy.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, that's good for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, Caitlin's been with me from the beginning. And we've been married, it'll be 6 years in October. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. I think one of the most difficult things I dealt with was my loss of identity.
Okay.
Because like as a seminarian, I was a seminarian through and through, you know? I was studying to be a priest. I wanted to be a priest. I was kind of high achieving in graduate school, you know, like
Nerd.
kind of a little, yeah. And then that was just like taken away.
Yeah.
It was gone. And then my identity was partying with my buddies.
Yeah.
And then that was taken away. I had like these two opposite extremes. And then constantly I get out of the hospital and I'm trying to go back to graduate school or get another full-time job and then my identity is not there. So I just keep getting back in the hospital because I keep running myself ragged. You know, I don't have an idea what's going on. And really I identified with Jesus on the cross, like you were saying, like, it's okay that I'm sick.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay that I have to deal with that. You know, I don't have to hide it. I don't have to avoid it. You know, like God brought this to me for a reason. It is a gift. I do believe it's a gift. My mental illness is a gift. I mean, it's shaped who I am. It's brought me here.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to work with you all year about becoming Catholic. Like these things never would have happened.
Right.
And you know, the reality is like I identify with Jesus on the cross.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
You know, and the beautiful thing is I can unite my suffering with Jesus and offer it up for others.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So tell me, could you go back to school at this point in time? I know you've had some other struggles. We haven't got there yet. But, you know, you said you were trying to decide, do I go back to graduate school? Do I go find a full-time job? Do I go back to the bar? Like, whatever. Right. Like, what did you finally come up with in that world that, like, you know, that was still obviously before you got married. So where do you stand with what you could have done or what did you do?
Yeah. So I got married in 2020 and I did full-time ministry for 2020. September of 2020 to May of 2024.
Youth ministry or?
A youth ministry and then director of faith formation, adult ministry stuff.
Okay.
2 different churches.
Oh, okay.
In Cleveland Diocese.
So you were giving back. You were pouring yourself into
it. It was very difficult. It was very difficult to maintain full-time hours.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the energy. I didn't have the time. it was very hard on me. It worried Caitlin a lot because she was worried about my job because I wasn't performing.
Yeah, because if you're in that and you get fired, it's worse off than if you quit, right?
And I don't have health insurance. And
right.
And you know, we both are in ministry, so we're not making a ton of money anyway. So we need both incomes. And but I was doing okay. I had some really great people I worked with. And May of 2024, I ended up back in the hospital.
Yeah.
Just another depressive episode that was just horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Again, I felt just that numbness and,
just kind of wore yourself out again. And it just,
I think I just didn't know my limit.
Yeah.
And I just burned myself, you know, too much. And,
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful thing is the boss, the pastor that was great with me, and I took off. I was able to go on FMLA and go good treatment and stuff like that. And then I ended up going on disability because I can't work full time.
Yeah.
And then in October, I was back at the hospital for 20 days. That was my longest stay. 20 days. I was working at the Cleveland Zoo for a little bit.
Okay.
Between May and October.
With the church or without the church?
Just at the taking tickets at the zoo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of showing there. It was a great job. I love it. Cleveland Zoo is awesome.
Out in public, you know?
Yeah, just talking to people. And it was simple, you know?
And I can see this, like, I would see the zoo as the church, right? Like, there are some people who just love to go to the zoo every day.
Yeah.
They get the season pass and they're there every day.
Yeah.
So when they walk in, you're like, oh, hey, Tom, how are you today? What are you looking at today? You know, what are you going to view today? But you see that at church too. You see the same people coming in all the time.
Yeah, it's similar.
And you get a chance to talk to them. So, you know, you're out there still in public though. You're working and you end up back there in the hospital. Same hospital?
It's always been the same hospital in
Okay.
Akron. Yeah. I mean, they're incredible.
Good.
They're incredible. I know the doctors there and my psychiatrist is at that same health system and he's incredible. So
good.
I've had very good success with them. They've been very good to me. So I ended up in 20 days, which is a long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, they kind of tell me, Josh, you're on every medicine already, pretty much. So The only thing we could try is ECT, electroconvulsive therapy. And that, that brings you back to one floor of the cuckoo's nest.
Right.
But
Yes.
it's not like that at all. But yeah, I mean,
And they put the paddles on.
they put you to sleep and
Yeah.
put electric something, like
Okay.
electrify your head, and then it causes a seizure.
Oh, okay.
They cause a seizure. And it's basically like a reset on your brain chemicals.
Yeah.
And it's a lifesaver.
Is it a convulsive seizure or is it just like
No, it's both, but they
strap you?
they paralyze you. They give you a medicine so your body won't move. And they put you all the way under. So you're under and your muscles are all relaxed. So you don't even know. Like you go to sleep and you wake up and you don't even know anything happened. You might have a headache, but they figure that out once they get used to your meds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been a lifesaver for me. I've been doing it once a month for a long time.
Yeah.
Over a year. And it works great. And I'm able to work part-time a little bit, work at the church.
Yep.
Help people come into the church and work in the office a little bit. And
you get to work with the priests and
priests,
the parish itself. I mean, that's a godsend, I think, in itself too, right? Because I would feel, running multiple stores and things that I've done in the past and leading teams up to 200 people. Yeah, I was always that guy who would always help, you take the time you need and come back when you need to, but there are jobs that are not that way, right? So you have a job now that is like, okay, Josh has got to take a week away.
Right.
And they're going to let you take the week.
Yeah, it's such a blessing. And also it gives me insight into people I'm ministering to.
Sure.
Because I know what suffering is and everybody deals with suffering.
Yeah.
That's the one blessing that it's been, is I've experienced suffering in such a way that it's so palpable to me at points of time.
Right.
That I know when people are suffering what it's like, and I can be there with them.
Yeah, and I think I like that because I know you're pretty empathetic and you have a reason to be, but I think that, we've seen it. We've seen people say, well, you don't know what it's like, right? And no, we don't know what it's like in your head. We don't know what it's like in your life every day, but you do know what it's like to suffer. You do know what it's like to go through a situation that you are afraid you're not going to get it.
Right.
And so who you're administering to people at the church, which is great. The parish is lovely. It's wonderful. But who do you want to affect in everything that you do? I do know you ask quite often on Facebook and in person and through text message, how can I pray for you today?
Yeah.
Sometimes people say yes. Sometimes people don't say anything. But who are you trying to reach when you do these kind of things to help people?
I think of it kind of reflecting back on that time the guy brought me communion. Like, how's the Lord going to work? I don't know. I pray all the time. I might as well pray for people. And I'll text them.
Yeah.
Hey, how can I pray for you?
Right.
Or I'll send them a picture of crucifix or like my little prayer space at home, like praying for you. Like, you never know what that will do to somebody, like it did to me when they brought me communion. No. And it's true. I mean, people have responded really well to it.
I mean, I lied to you one day and then texted 10 minutes later and said, you know what? I just lied to you. I'm not doing okay. And, so you just don't know. I think the one thing my mother always told me is, you have to be kind to people because you don't know what they're going through.
Right.
And I always took that with me through everything, through every job that I've had, through every life experience that I've had. You just have to be kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know if you're holding a door open for somebody because they have a broken arm and they can't open the door.
Right.
You have no idea.
Right.
Or the person going 20 miles an hour down the highway just got out of the hospital and there was nobody to take them home. Right.
Right.
So you just kind of seems to fall away. But, here you are being kind to people on the biggest stage because you're really allowing your faith to.
When I do some stuff on Substack, I write some articles too that I've got good feedback on, just sharing my story. Like, hey, everyone suffers. Christ will suffer with you and bring you out of it, bring you through it.
Right.
Just because you're dealing with pain, suffering, all those negative emotions doesn't mean something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're a bad Christian. Doesn't mean you don't know how to pray. Doesn't mean you're worthless.
Yeah.
Like it's just part of being a human being. And Christ went through it and made it a holy thing. He's blessed the way of suffering and it can bring about good. And that's what I want people to know. Like, you're not alone in your suffering. Even if you feel alone, Christ is with you. And
I'm willing to bet, though, yes, Christ is with them, but other people are with them.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's the fear of that, right? You're in a dark state. I mean, I was there 2:00 in the morning. I probably should have went to the hospital. I didn't. I was in a sudden panic mode, right? And I found myself going to sleep. I found myself finally waking up 3 hours later and made it through. But for me, it was like, man, I was alone in that moment, you know? And there were times during that time frame for me that the dog was sleeping with me in the bed, and I would roll over and go, if I had a heart attack tonight and died, nobody would even know, because I didn't have anybody. Like, at that time, I was getting divorced, and I didn't have anybody who would probably check on me, right?
Sure.
And that weighs on. But there were people who care. It just, I wasn't reaching out to them to ask them for that help.
Well, we're so blinded by our own suffering that we can't. We don't want to be a burden to anyone.
Right.
We don't want to weigh anyone down or cause any issues. That was my big problem. Is I would never want to bother anybody.
Right.
Oh, this is just my thing. I'm not going to bother anybody with it. Well, then it turns into going to the hospital, and
now you are bothering.
You are bothering somebody, and you need to, and it's good you are.
Yeah, it's kind of like that thing where they say, take care of it now, or it's going to take care of you later.
Right.
Like, your health. Like, if you don't take care of it now, it's going to take care of you later. And it is kind of what happened. And then when that happens, you bring everybody with you, because now they are coming to the hospital to check on you.
Right.
Now they are worried about you. And you could have just said, I need a phone call with somebody to kind of take it there, right? That being said, you work at Our Lady of the Angels. And are you open to anybody reaching out to you? If you're Facebook friends, if you're friends from the past, like, if somebody was struggling, can they just text you and let you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not a trained therapist, but I'm happy to pray with anybody and do what I can, and hopefully point people in the right direction to get the help they need.
Yeah.
And
I think we've gone through that. And I think we've had some people that we know that are in that stage, and we try to help them through, hey, I'm not a therapist, but I can get a therapist for you.
Right.
Or, maybe you can sit down and talk to somebody. I mean, it's like that conversation you have with people, like, look, I don't have all the answers, but I will find the answers for you.
Absolutely.
So that's good, because now you've made it through, you're here, you're helping people, and it's a blessing. I mean, I really do feel like it is, because you see the culmination of a big win for you guys this past year, with 15 people joining the church.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work from you.
Yeah.
It really is. So how does it feel when you get to that level, right? You see where you were 6, 7, 8 years ago, and now you're helping people join the church. It might not be in the priesthood, but it's still serving, right?
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. One of the things, my parents were huge influences on my faith. My dad is a convert, and he was the one that really influenced my prayer when I was young. And so to be able to get back to people who are becoming Catholic it's like a full circle moment.
That's awesome.
Kind of, it's like, well, this is what someone did with my dad, and he helped me, and now I can help others. And again, just being able to work very part-time and just kind of help out as I can. It's low stress, which keeps me very mentally healthy. And I'm still able to get my treatments, my ECT, and be involved in my family and everything. But I'd say the beauty is just, again, the guy that brought me communion, I can do that for somebody. And one of the reasons why I do text someone, going back to what you said earlier, is because people feel like they're alone. That's why people come to my mind. I text them so they know they're not alone. They know someone's praying for them. Yeah. I mean, how often are you told someone's praying for you?
Yeah.
That's not often.
And I would say, before I became Catholic in the last year of my life, if somebody said they were praying for me, I would probably have rolled my eyes.
Yeah.
Said, oh.
Yeah.
But now I could only ask for it, and I could only love it that it happens, right? Because it just means someone's thinking about you.
Absolutely.
And I have a lot of friends who just reach out and just check on me now, hey, how you doing? And I appreciate every one of them for doing that, because, you don't know. People think you're alone, but I also check on them. I will just randomly text them and say, hey, how's your day going? I think that train has to go both ways, but so if anybody out there is thinking about somebody, if they just pop into your head, even if you're driving down the road, now when you get to wherever you're going, just send them a text, give them a call. They'd be happy to hear. And I do tell people that all the time, because, again, Go back to being kind to people. We don't know what people are going through. We might think we do. We might work with them every day, see them 45, 50 hours a week. We still don't know what they're going through.
No.
You know? And it's a real struggle for people. Well, Josh, I really do appreciate your story. It's a blessing to get to know it.